No, it's cool, man. I get it. This is where the big boys play.
You know.
The big man.
This is where the big boys play.
Measuring stick just changed around here.
What a promo.
It wasn't bad. And then he takes the mic and like puts it in Bischoff's chest and grabs him from the back.
No.
Well,
That
and,
promo was good. He's fine. You know what? He has an art to him of the political game really in the back for the most part. His look plus his political game.
His political game was called, he got a contract that had booking clauses in it, so he got to do what he wanted. That was his politics.
Dude, his booking game is on point. I mean, he got the favored nations with like Scott Hall thing, and then he's a great manipulator. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, he did a little bit of that in WWF too. I mean, he hitched his horse to the right person, so it's like, I mean, it was just all around good. Now, they weren't exactly profitable with him on top, but
No. I mean, the WWE was terrible at that point.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's probably best not to. I don't know. First of all, you created you created the push. You created the rocket, basically the diesel push, as it would.
Correct.
And then you're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna beat Bob Backlund in 17 seconds.
Yep.
I'm not the best for me. Not the best.
No,
but
he was not great.
But the thing is, at least he had, at least he could face Shawn when they,
Yeah, but they weren't really like good matches.
They're fine though. I mean, there's some of his better matches. So
I loved the shit out of the Wolfpack. I love the shit out of the Wolfpack.
I mean, you like Warrior. I mean, tell me like his good matches.
I don't think Warrior. I liked him as a kid. I look back on it and I'm like, God, he sucks.
Yeah, he's horrible.
Yeah.
Just watch any of his matches. But I mean, you get mad hyped. I mean, if you watch that Honky Tonk SummerSlam '88, you get real hyped.
Especially as a little kid. Like, there's this dude running around full speed and he's bright and colorful and he's shaking shit. And I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Mojo tried to do that. Didn't work.
Mojo Rawley blows.
I mean, he's still there, man.
He is. At least they're giving him an arc. At least they're giving him character development.
Yeah. What you do is just do the grind. You do the media. That's the thing. He does all like the pressers and all the media things. He's always like doing all that stuff. That's what The Miz did for so long. You're like, why is this guy here? And it's because he'll do like Cleveland Today at like 8:00 in the morning or whatever it is. So
because no one else will do Cleveland Today.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's how he gets to like stick around, and then it looped into people actually like, you know what? I respect The Miz. He's like a good heel. Like he's come.
Well, he's good around on the mic. He's shit in the ring, but he's good on the mic.
It's fine though because he's good on the mic.
Yeah,
so it's like fine.
Sure, I guess. If you don't like the wrestling part of the wrestling.
Well, I mean, okay. How good do you think The Rock is at wrestling?
Athletic enough to entertain me.
I mean, I don't seem like. I mean, I know he's like a way better promo than Miz, but it's just like he's just entertainment factor. How good is Hogan at wrestling?
Oh, but I think Hogan sucks. I never liked Hogan. Even like 2-year-old me thought Hogan sucked.
Well, that's because you liked Warrior, but you wouldn't have thought that if you were like on the other side of the coin.
Well, of course, if I was on, if I liked,
pick one or the other.
Of course, if I liked Hogan, I would like Hogan.
You can't like both, right? Nobody liked both, right? There's not people out there that like both.
No, yeah, because they were both faces at WrestleMania 6. People were torn.
I understand. No. You can't like both of them.
People like Savage and Hogan.
Yeah, choose side. Yeah, but that was a little different because at least, Savage had. Did Savage come in as a heel, or he was always?
No, he was always a face because his heel turn was Mega Powers.
That was his first face. His first and like kind of not. I don't say only, but his main heel run with the King Savage and Sherry and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He wasn't a heel before that because was he heel in Memphis when he was on top there?
Oh, I don't
know. Me either. I'm not smart enough. Well, let me know. DM us.
I think he was heel when he was.
Let me know.
When he was in the Cardinals farm system, I think he was heel.
Oh, he's definitely heel there. Yeah,
he was
for
heel
sure.
in that outfield. No, I think it was too early in the Hogan hatred phase. I think people liked both Hogan and Warrior. I think you would find a decent amount of people that were like, well, I like them both.
I didn't like Warrior. As a kid, I thought, man, this guy's like a little too crazy. His promos even for like a 4-year-old, I was like, what is this guy talking about?
Oh, I thought he was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, well, for instance, I played you that
Yes.
Warrior promo the other time.
It's
you got scared,
terrifying.
and
Yeah, I
you're like 30.
I'm kind of like a man.
Yeah, and so hello, they were just like, okay, just let this guy do whatever he wants.
Yeah, basically.
Little bit too much. A little bit too much.
He went backstage, snorted some steroids,
Well,
and
clearly.
then went fucking off. I mean, he's not as scary as Jake Roberts.
What's Warrior's best match? That is that Macho Man match?
Oh yeah, where Macho Man wears the when he was coming down from steroids and he wears the bodysuit with muscles spray painted on it.
I can't get with that match because 5 elbows, man.
Oh
Five
no,
elbows?
not that. That's the
Oh,
no. Yeah, I was
that's the
thinking
retirement one.
I was thinking of the wrong match with the bodysuit. You're talking about the one where Warrior beats him and then Sherry comes and kicks him and shit.
Yeah,
Liz
Liz comes down, the reunion, the whole big. I mean, that's
love story we've ever seen.
Yes, one of the best WrestleMania moments, my friend.
Oh, it fucking is 100%. She fucking hops the guardrail, spins her ass off. The pop for that is so legit.
Beautiful. But what I cannot get with, first of all, that's probably Warrior's best match because Savage could have a good match with anybody.
Probably.
But five elbows. Come on, I can't do it. I can't
Warrior,
do it,
man. He's seen the shit out of Macho Man in that one. Just keep eating finishers.
5 elbows.
Just
that might have been That was the start of this.
Everybody kicks out a finisher shit.
This Cena era. Everyone uses 3 finishers per match.
Vince saw that in his head. He was like, "I'm gonna bookmark this and use it for later."
Yeah. Yep. That's right. Everyone's got to do their finisher like 3 times.
Oh, this will be gold in the future.
Yeah.
It's probably that match or the WrestleMania 6 match against Hogan. I mean, that's not really a good match, but I mean,
No, but that was fine.
Or none of
I understand what you're saying.
None of the Warrior versus Rick Rude matches for the Intercontinental title?
I mean, they were okay, but man, Warrior's so bad.
He's not good.
I bet there's like an offhand like Mr. Perfect match that was probably decent.
Well, does that count though? Because Mr. Perfect was like sweet as shit.
Yeah, I mean it counts as a match, but there's got to be like a decent match there. But I mean, I remember, not that I remember, I just heard vis-a-vis something to wrestle with that just Rude hated working with. I mean, didn't everyone hate working with him? I can't imagine a scenario where anybody liked working with that guy.
Well, 1, he wasn't a good wrestler. 2, he was probably like high out of his mind all the time. Like he was fucking nuts.
Well, he's just gonna hurt you.
Yeah,
like,
I don't want to work with him.
Like, who wants to take like that running? Not even the shoulder.
The diving
that, like,
shoulder.
Weird. Not the diving shoulder. The weird like chest to chest kind of thing he does. I don't know. He just has his moveset is just brutal.
I just feel like when he would put you up for like the gorilla press and like
when he grabbed everybody's nuts.
Yeah, I just feel like
he would like do that on purpose.
Yeah,
what
he
is
would
that?
like grab your dick and then drop you. And if I'm up there in that position, at first I'm angry, and then I'm just like, this is how I die. Like I wouldn't be comfortable with that. I mean, I wouldn't be. I'm not. I mean, look at his promos. Like I would be like, this guy doesn't know that what we're doing is scripted, does he?
I mean,
this guy thinks we're really about to fight.
I guess he should have been. He would have been a good mouthpiece, I guess.
Oh man, he would have been real good for like, I don't know, anybody.
I want him versus Bray Wyatt in like a.
Oh my god! Like
a 15-minute
cryptic
Raw
promo
segment
in a 15-minute
where they're just talking about
match.
The stars and the sky and stuff.
Bray Wyatt versus Ultimate Warrior cryptic promo match, and you're just like, what the fuck are they talking about?
That's right. That would be awesome.
I would love to see Warrior on color commentary.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
Just super abstract and like metaphorical about everything. I would want to see him paired with like Michael Cole in like today's Michael Cole, whose job is to make it like super watered down and stupid and explain to you like, oh my god, like Reigns is putting forth such an amazing effort. I want to see that Michael Cole with like Warrior just being like grunty and growling and talking about like the devil and what's in the sky and what the universe feels. That would be sweet.
You will not tweet me.
I will not be tweeted. Cole's just like, and what a Superman punch.
Superman punch. 2. I thought it was 3 that time.
And then Warrior goes off on a tangent of how like Superman is a mere mortal and how he's like homogenizing the universe and God, and Cole is just and kick out at 2.
I didn't like when he started wearing that really long jacket. I don't know.
Oh, I love the long jacket.
Oh, I hated it. Oh, I hated that. I hated it so
You know
much.
what it made me think of? Do you remember? I don't remember the name of it. The Batman movie with Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl.
Okay, yeah.
And she goes
Forever.
Okay.
Right?
I was gonna say
We're
Batman
talking
and
Riddler?
Robin. I don't know. I just remember. I know it sucks.
Riddler, Poison Ivy,
and Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Right? Yeah,
that's Batman Forever with Clooney.
Yes.
Oh no, Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer. Sorry.
No, I think it's Clooney and Chris O'Donnell as Robin.
Oh. Yeah, well, Chris O'Donnell was always Robin. He was with 2 different Batmans as Robin.
Yes, there was Batman and Robin.
Val Kilmer, who's in Forever, that has like Nicole Kidman. That has.
So then I think it's Batman and Robin because it's the one with Clooney.
Yes. Okay. Batman and Robin is Clooney,
so
and then
Batman
Alicia Silverstone is Catwoman.
No, she's Batgirl. She's Alfred's.
Oh,
niece.
She's Batgirl. That's right. I'm sorry.
And
of course.
She like rides bikes and races them, but she goes to like some race, and the bad guys are all like in like some weird part of town where everything is like painted with like highlighter paint, and it's all bright green and like orange and blue. But like the head bad guy,
so it's like Coachella, basically,
like a Sonic Forest, and the main bad guy is like a combination of Papa Shango via like the face paint and the top hat, but he's wearing a trench coat like that cut off at the sleeves, almost identical to like Warriors. It's covered in like bright highlighter paint everywhere, and every time I remember seeing that movie.
Wait, is that the same time frame, or do you think he bit off of Warrior or Warrior bit off of him?
I think he bit off a Warrior.
Where did Warrior get it from then?
Yeah, I don't know, just being fucking nuts. I feel like he dragged that out of like the trash behind like the arena in like
that's
Missouri,
what it seemed like. He's like, you know what? I want kind of Rick Rude's gimmick with the tights, but worse. What do you got for me?
Do you guys have any coats with like hepatitis on it? I want to.
You know what? That. I don't want tights. Can you just like cut them down the sides? I'll just wear it as a jacket.
Do me a favor. Get this. Yeah, you see this coat? Yeah, it's great. We like it. Sweet. Can you rip the sleeves off and just cover it in a bunch of bright colored shit and then make it dirty at the same time? And then I'm going to wear it.
Yeah, I didn't understand the jacket.
I think he was still trying to cover up more because he was coming down from steroids. Same like him, Hogan, and Macho Man were all getting smaller and were self-conscious about it. That's why Macho Man started covering up a little more. Oh, I'm sorry. The bodysuit I was thinking of. Macho Man starts to do the matching top with the pants.
Jake Roberts kind of? That's
roughly
when he did that
era. So Macho Man starts wearing the cutoff sleeve top. But Warrior has a match against Macho Man in that time frame where Warrior wears like a bodysuit with the muscles painted out, basically like Giant Gonzalez.
Oh, the God.
Fur. And it's like, but it's really.
If anybody has that picture, please DM it to me.
Throw it out there. It's created, but it's so like flesh colored and matching his skin that you really think it's him. And then you realize, oh shit, he's wearing a bodysuit, and it's because he was self-conscious and had to come off the steroids because of the steroid scandal at that time, and everybody was like covering up. It's crazy to watch that shit back and know that. Whereas again, when I was a little kid, I was just like, oh, Macho Man's wearing a top. Oh, Ultimate Warrior's got a new suit, and I didn't think twice about it.
That's a great segue to Giant Gonzalez, and why?
I don't know. He was big in Mexico, I guess.
Yeah, he was in. Well, wasn't he in WCW, or was that after? I thought that was before.
I don't know his run. I remember
his run is WCW.
I don't know why I think I'm confusing it. Maybe not. I remember being little and because he made his debut at that Rumble and cost Taker and trucked him over the ropes. I remember getting home on, I thought, like a Saturday night, and I don't know why, for some reason I think Rumble was on like or maybe it was the night after, I don't know, something. I remember watching a recap of Royal Rumble the night before and seeing Giant Gonzalez debut and Chuck Taker over the ropes and being like really confused and scared of how big Giant Gonzalez was. And I remember being hyped for the WrestleMania 9 match between the two. And then it's just, that pay-per-view sucks, but That's actually one of my favorite venues ever for any pay-per-view. But I remember,
Caesar's Palace, the outdoors one?
as a little kid, I had never seen an outdoor pay-per-view. And the venue is awesome. It's like they're in the Roman Coliseum. It's cool.
I mean, that was the most piss-poor WrestleMania.
No, it was terrible, like, rewatching it. But it was cool. It was a cool venue. It was outdoors. It was at, like, 5 in the afternoon. And I thought it was, like, sweet. Like, it was in the middle of the day. I didn't have to wait till nighttime. And it was, like, bright and outside. And it looked like a Roman Coliseum. And they had the canopy over the ring. I thought it was, like, super cool. I'd never seen anything like that. I'd never seen a bright pay-per-view. The only bright pay-per-view I'd ever seen before that was highlights when I saw the one pay-per-view at the Pontiac Silverdome where LOD rides in on the bikes.
Right.
That's the closest thing I'd seen to a bright thing. Isn't that? No. Yeah.
No.
What do they ride in on the bikes at?
Wembley Stadium, 92, SummerSlam.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. But the bright one that I'm thinking of is at the Pontiac Silverdome, right?
WrestleMania 3? I mean, possibly. I mean, they're Wembley? Not there.
There's one where it's like light out.
I mean, they're both light, but one's in 1992 and one's in like 1987.
Okay, so, no, I'm thinking of the one in that. So then I'm thinking of Wembley, the early parts of Wembley.
Yeah, you're thinking of Bret Hart, Davey Boy Smith. LOD comes down. It's real cool. That was a real solid pay-per-view.
And they come out with Paul Ellering, right?
Yeah, he's on the bike too.
All right, so then with the ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking.
That was an awesome pay-per-view. That's the reason why I just don't understand why they don't. It's timing and just tradition, but I don't understand why they don't hit up some of these like locales. Who cares? Now that you have the network, you got to do like the European shows. I don't understand why. I know they're doing Australia soon. They're going to have that little. They're calling it a pay-per-view. But you got to do that. I mean, they should be over in Wembley like all the time, like once a year, you know?
Well, they did that NXT event from it last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah. From Wembley?
No, not from Wembley, just in England.
Right. For the tournament? Was it for the tournament?
I think it was before that because that was when Balor beat Joe for Balor beat Kevin. Oh, this is a while ago. Balor beat Kevin Owens for the NXT title at that show.
Oh, yikes. That was a while ago then.
Yeah, and then I think Brock faced somebody on the next day for the WWE part of it. Yeah, that is a good point. They should do. I thought Wembley was the coolest thing ever. I mean, that's
Wembley's awesome. It's huge. It's huge, so that's something Vince would like.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you could fit as many people as you want. They have the O2 arena now too, right? That's not the same thing. It might be the same thing. I don't think it is.
No, it's not the same thing. That's where
No, O2 is Arsenal and Wembley is Tottenham. Okay.
Yeah, New Wembley, is Tottenham.
Yeah, New Wembley is Tottenham. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
FA Cup and every other main important thing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because
Tottenham gets to play out of that. Oh, well, they're in...
I mean, that's where they are. I mean, it is what it is.
Oh, yeah, because Tottenham... Isn't Tottenham
it'd be worse if they were... I don't know. I don't want to say Southampton. It'd be worse if they were like some...
Stoke.
Worse is like Stoke plays out of Wembley. Why? They probably get 500 people. They're all drunk. They got free tickets. It's like, it would be crazy. At least they can fill up the arena.
There was so much passion in that. Stoke plays out of Wembley. Why?
It's true. Like,
why? They don't even have Shaqiri anymore.
Well,
did you know Shaqiri got transferred to Liverpool?
I did.
I had no idea until I saw it last week.
Well, there's a million things happening. Quartzon happened today.
Why?
I mean, God, yeah. My favorite squad besides the that undefeated Arsenal squad, which really got me into soccer, is that Tottenham squad with Bale and
Paulinho.
Who they have? Was that like the Jermaine Defoe, Peter Crouch, Vandervar, Modric, or is it like another time period I'm thinking?
No.
Well, at least Bale, Modric, and
Modric's up before, like a season or two before Bale went to Madrid.
No, they played together.
Yeah, they did, but when Bale left, Modric had already been gone. They didn't leave at the same time.
No, I understand that. I'm saying the team that was comprised of
Oh,
that.
so you mean like young Bale, like when he like took off?
Yes,
For
he was
Tottenham.
amazing.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, copy.
I mean, you think like I don't know. I'm sure maybe stats will tell me different, but I've really never seen. And I know Mbappe is like super quick, and we all saw that in the World Cup. Mbappe. I should just call him that actually.
Mbappe is better. We should just call him Hansen.
I mean, obviously, like his speed was like crazy, but Bale, especially for a white dude, I had never seen a faster person on ball.
And he was on Tottenham, who everybody was just kind of like, what?
No, everyone just pooped on them.
Yeah,
like completely. Yeah, at the time, no, no prestige whatsoever, and he was just killing it. Yeah, I love young Bale. Now it's like he's ruining his career by going to Madrid. Now he just sits. He gets DNPs all the time. It's like crazy. Well, I mean, he'll play more this season, obviously, but in general, he should have left a while ago and just gone back. And
he should have stayed. He's one of those dudes that like
he should be in EPL.
That's my thing. Like, I know he's Welsh, but I feel like he should have stayed in the Premier League. I feel like there's certain dudes that like Harry Kane needs to not leave the Premier League. Like certain dudes from the English or Welsh background need to be in the Premier League to keep that league like afloat with like.
It's not even okay. I don't want to say keep the league afloat. The league would be just fine, but like
no, but I mean from a star power.
Some players like just belong there. I don't know. No, for me too. I know obviously he had a longer run at Madrid or whatever, but when Ronaldo was at Man U, I think I've said it before. I like that version, that team and that version of like Ronaldo and like how he played back then.
Yeah, you got to play with fucking Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, that's very true. I don't know. He just became, he had to become a different player and like, go to kind of a like more of a super team, I guess, if you could call it, even though Man U was obviously very good too. But I mean, I don't know. I like when the EPL is good, I guess.
Yeah, it's cool.
Or when they can challenge on a European level, which is rare.
Yes, which is very rare. I agree. It's cool to see those teams do well. I mean, every year I've never not my last like 8 FIFA franchises when I get FIFA every year, I've always picked like a team from the Premier League because the parity is better. I still think
I always pick Watford.
I remember, and
I don't know why. I remember seeing them a long time ago, and I was like, oh, yellow, oh, Wolves, sure. So my creative player was always at Watford from like then on. And they've moved up in the world, so
not too bad.
Good for them.
They got Delafeu.
Yeah, they were in like the second league when I was playing with them in like FIFA. So
I think in this year's FIFA I'm going to do a franchise with Nottingham Forest.
That's solid.
It sounds sweet. Robin Hood, big fan.
I actually knew a guy. He lives in Seattle now. I used to work with him. That was his team. And I couldn't believe it at the time. I was like, what? That is like unheard of. I was like, how do you even watch their games?
That's so awesome. Because, you have a
like,
conversation.
I just stream them. And I said, okay.
I just stream them. Like, oh, who's your team? Nottingham Forest. No, seriously, who's your team? Nottingham Forest.
I was like, how do you even know that team exists? But
I just know I found out they existed when I started playing FIFA, and I played them in, like, the FA Cup. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, oh. And I started to know all like the second level and third tier. Like
sure, that's what you did. Yeah, that's what FIFA is very good for. The knowledge, like oh yeah, Argentine main league. Yeah, I know who's in that league. Like that's where the knowledge comes from.
Especially for World Cup when someone's like, who's this dude? Like he plays for Boca Juniors, and I'm like, yeah, I transferred him to my team for $7 million, got him up to like an 84 after like 3 years, then transferred him out. Blah blah blah. Like FIFA definitely like helps you identify people because I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's good. He's got like 92 speed in FIFA.
Yeah, then you play too much though, and you get those generic people with the fake names, and you think they might actually play soccer. But it's like, no, man, you've just played too many seasons.
I hate the generic. There's a big thing that's bothered me for the last 2 years for FIFA is that Christian Pulisic, his face isn't in the game, so he has this like generic player.
Yeah, generic face.
Yeah, he looks like his generic player face looks like some dude who like ate shellfish and is allergic to shellfish. His face is all puffy and weird, and his body type isn't right. And that's the reason I don't get Madden anymore. I've gotten used to FIFA, especially since they went over to the Frostbite engine. I love how like I can be playing a game and I know which character is Jamie Vardy because it looks like Jamie Vardy. I know Mahrez looks like Mahrez, Messi looks like Messi, Ronaldo, so on and so forth. Like they look like they're people except for Pulisic. But that's what I don't like about Madden. Like, the body type of Carson Wentz and his throwing motion is the same as, like, the throwing motion and body type of, like, Eli Manning. Like, there's no differentiation.
I mean, didn't they just call it in? Didn't they just hit the easy button since, like, I don't know,
well, they went over to the Frostbite engine now for the last
or something like that?
Yeah, it's been the same shit for a long
Like,
time.
who gives a shit?
And
I can't even finish the season in Madden.
Oh,
like,
I will go
can't.
hardcore. It's easy. I could do, like, 5 games in a good, like, night.
I mean, it's just like not entertainment to me. Like, the real entertainment that I really liked, I enjoy like creative players and like going through a story mode. With all sports games.
Yes.
But in general, if it's not that, then I really liked, and I think there's a consensus that people did like this game. I didn't know this till after the fact, but NCAA football was my jam. It was like my favorite thing in the world.
To say that my favorite thing,
and
was
I like recruiting. I like the whole recruiting aspect, getting new players and doing all that kind of stuff.
I love 2 things. I love doing like the regular franchise mode. I loved recruiting. I loved scouting. I loved like inviting them to a big game, like against your rival, and then you knew you had to beat the rival.
Do you play it when you could do high school?
What do you mean?
So you could do that portion still with the recruiting,
right?
But then you could also just do this thing with your creative player where you would go through like your high school tournament before you would go into college.
No, I didn't. I had the thing for when you would do a creative player. I also love this when you do create a player and then you would like do a
try
bunch
to recruit
of,
them.
No, you would do a bunch of like drills and a bunch of shit, and based on how good you did, it would give you a rating on a 10, and based on that, you would get offers from like certain schools, and then you had to.
So
pick
this
from
is what they did. They took that model and then they said, okay, you're in the state tournament. You have 4 games to win, whatever. Your stats in the state tournament game, based on the plays we give you, determine how good a prospect you're going to be going into college.
God, NCAA was the shit, and they canceled.
I know.
It was crazy. So, and the cool stuff like with where if you were home, you could make like the controller vibrate, make the crowd get loud. You had
that was
sweet. You had the special icons on like sweet defensive players would have the little or sweet players period would have the little white icon under them, and if it started to pulsate, it meant they were about to do something special. So a defensive player basically meant like, yo, like you could run through anybody and get like a strip on any play. Oh, the atmosphere was so cool. The recruiting shit was sweet. God, that stuff was like, that's why I like FIFA. Like, I love the idea of like, okay, like I'm scouting. I have so many games. I have to play, guys from, my younger guys because I can't wear everybody out by the end of the season. I like playing in multiple tournaments. I like, again, scouting and developing and doing the drills and training. Like, same thing with NHL. Is awesome for that as well. You have your minor league team or the guys you draft and stay in juniors, and then they come up, and again, they develop, and you play them in the right way. You can play the AHL games and develop them even more. Like, that's sweet. Like, all of that. Like, Madden is just like, it just seems like generic
Madden's
crap
just like
for forever.
Poop.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. It's just updated rosters every year.
Yeah, that's all it is. I just saw that that it's been like, I guess it's been 5 years since the last NCAA football comes out. And what people
the last one had your boy on it, Denard Robinson, in his Michigan gear.
Yes. What people are doing now is people go into the 2013 version and create all the rosters.
Yes, I read an article on that. There's a bunch of dudes who like do it every year and update all this stuff. That's the friggin' love for it, man. That shit is awesome.
Man. Dude, that game is awesome. I mean, maybe with today's kind of loosening, I know it's on the NBA end, but it is kind of saying, hey, college athletes, we're giving in to you a little bit. I don't know. Did you see this stuff that came out today?
No, what happened?
So the NCAA, I don't know what's going to go through because the NBA obviously has to agree to it, and NFL or whatever is going to happen. So the main things are that if you declare and go into the draft and you're not drafted, even though you sign an agent, yada yada, you can go back to school.
They made that an official thing?
Yes,
because Steve Kerr proposed that idea like a couple months ago.
No. Everyone, it's just like common sense. I think what they're trying to do now is kind of like save their ass a little bit by like trying to hit the NBA off of the pass as if the NBA hasn't been saying this for a while.
Right. Look what we did. We're the NFL.
Yeah. And then on top of that, now this is only for basketball at the moment, but I think this could be, getting into, it'll trickle down, I hope. Okay. The other main thing is that if you are a elite recruit, I believe is what the term was.
Okay.
If you're an elite recruit, you can have an agent.
Oh, okay.
Like from high school.
Oh,
you can
my
have
God.
You can have an agent in high school.
Yikes.
What
do they classify as elite? Like top 50?
Yeah, that's the thing. They didn't really give like a definition of that. Really, I'm trying to look it up real quick, but yeah, it's just crazy. They came out with it. I guess the NBA didn't know that was going to happen and stuff like that, and now it's like all this trickle down with how this is gonna like work. But I think it's going towards that. We're going to be able to. They haven't addressed it, but the paying the college athletes. I'm hoping this is like the start of that, and also the start of
winter.
Sorry, winter's coming.
I was gonna say it's coming.
Winter's definitely coming. No, just like that these guys can have money and they don't get like, banned from school because they sold their Jordans or whatever.
Yeah, for like $10. And it's like, oh, you got this $10. You're not allowed to play anymore.
You're out of here. You're out of here.
But
no, they said that like you can have an agent and you can make money and then your family can
not be poor and broke.
Right. If it's for like you and your family, you can all like normal expenses, however they're kind of classifying that as like, living expenses and all this kind of stuff. You can make money on the side. So this is like loosening it up, and we'll see if, they end up kind of getting back to, high schoolers can go straight to the pros and all this kind of like stuff. But I mean, that's the main hold up in the NCAA football is what I'm trying to get to is like, they didn't want their likeness in there because they didn't want to like make money or whatever it is from it. So it's like, let's just get rid of that and then we can get this game back on track.
I would like NCAA football to come back. It was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And you could schedule. You could change it all. Like you could change the schedule and play harder. Like it was just so fucking awesome. And do you remember when they would do the? It would have like the weekly magazine would come out in your franchise.
Yes,
oh my God,
that was good. That was very good.
So
what
awesome.
I didn't like is in some of the later editions, you could like have a choice what to do, like study or go party. Or like
and it would affect like your shit
play or like your academics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't really care about that. Like
you would have to take like if you pick like whatever like major you pick, like if you pick psychology, you would have to take like a psychology exam and answer the questions as yourself with no knowledge. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't want any of that. I mean, on the other end, I guess the like what they tried to do in some of like the pro games, like whatever NBA Ballers was like, hey, you have a lot of money. Do you want to go to the club? Do you want this house? Like just stuff like that.
Do you want to buy a bunch of cocaine and beat up some hookers?
Yeah, or you just want to chill in the hotel or work out the next day.
Do you want to get your jewelry back?
That is what I thought was hard in 2K, and I prefer 2K to Live. I'm a 2K person. I did like that. It was kind of not, I don't want to say difficult, but you had, I'm talking about NBA 2K basketball, that you had those little like objectives to try to get your creative player, like, and they weren't like super easy to get. I enjoyed like the difficulty level of kind of all that stuff.
Yeah.
I was always a point guard, so it was a lot of like just, make 10 assists a game or something of that nature.
Right.
But did you ever play that in creative player, like 2K or anything?
2K, I've never really. I stopped playing basketball games in like 2003.
I got you. Okay.
Same time.
It's not bad. I would still play them, but and hockey. Okay, so I really like the 2K hockeys, like the older ones.
Okay,
but I didn't
like Dreamcast.
No.
I like those ones.
Oh, I don't like those ones. I like 2K, was it like 2K3 with like Ed Belfour on the cover?
Oh my God,
and like
yeah.
that kind of area, 2K6, whatever. We're dating ourselves. But I like that version of it. I don't know. I was just very good. Like I think I could have been like in some sort of pro league playing this. I'm not, I don't want to overstate it, but I was
do it. Talk that shit. Shoot your shot.
No. If it was a game, if it wasn't NCAA football, it was like 2K3 for NHL. I'm not saying I'm not good at games in general, but those were definitely my two games if I was like gonna, go worldwide on
For
it.
any game or just sports games?
Any game, because I really only played sports games growing up.
Okay.
I mean, I did your classic like Mario and stuff like that, but obviously I played like GoldenEye and like just things that were like uber popular.
The original shooter.
But I was not like a Metal Gear Solid person. I was not a Final Fantasy person.
Metal Gear Solid is the best.
I didn't play RPGs until like I was in like my 20s, basically. Okay. So, and then and then afterwards I got into like, you're like your Elder Scrolls series and like your just whatever your other stuff later on. But before that, it was just strictly sports. All I bought was sports games like in my teenage years.
That makes sense. I was basically the same thing, but I played a lot of. I did like
no resale value when I went to get those things. Zero.
No, I mean, it's every once in a while someone would be like, "Oh, if you trade in last year's Madden, we'll give you like $10 off this year's Madden." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, and just as another mention, Tiger Woods golf. I mean, you can't make a better golf game than that. I don't know. I played that game well into my like 25th year on the.
I am super partial to like PGA Tour 2 for Sega Genesis.
Oh man, come on!
For Sega Genesis, it was the shit when it was hard. Dude. When it was fucking awesome.
It's not better than Tiger Woods.
Well, I mean, maybe not, but it was fucking sweet. And that was really the only golf game I played was on Sega. And then once like,
what's the one you played at bars? Golden Tee. Were you ever good at Golden Tee?
I never played Golden Tee.
You never played Golden Tee? Just like drunk at a bar?
No, if I'm playing games at a bar, it's either Pong, beer battle, darts, pool. I'm not doing Golden Tee.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they just like have them. You never been in like a Dave and Buster's or something of that, like in that nature?
I've only been to a Dave and Buster's once.
Oh, I had something similar.
Sorry to let you. Oh,
I had something similar to a Dave and Buster's in my like college years.
Was
called,
it like?
It was called Jillian's. It was like a sports bar that was based out of Boston, but they kind of closed down.
I was really hoping it was gonna have like another person's like two. It was gonna be like Stephen Tom's, but like, it was just like Dave and Buster's, but real bootleg.
No. So Jillian's basically here. The gimmick was that it was like a sports bar. So you went in, and that was like all TVs. That's where you watch UFC fights. That's where like everything kind of happened. I would watch like WrestleManias and Royal Rumbles there and stuff like that. Like, yeah, they were like pretty legit. And then you'd upstairs they had like a club, so it was more like dance and club feel.
Ooh,
but then downstairs was basically a Dave and Buster's, like with just like a shit ton of games. So it's like pick your poison. Do you want a slow night, a medium night, a crazy night?
Ooh. It's kind of like the choose your own end in the novel.
Choose your own adventure, bro. Choose your own adventure.
Flip to page 79 if you decided to stab the goblin.
You're right about that. Oh, you talking like D&D world?
I was thinking like Goosebumps.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
I was thinking we never played D&D.
I think I played once over a summer because I was at a camp, and so we had like a lot of free time because you need a lot of like free time for that. And it was like fine, not good enough to like do on the regular. I don't know.
Between video games and sports and life, I did not have enough time for D&D.
The thing is, when you're in the woods and this was before the internet, and you didn't even get a newspaper, you had no idea what was happening. You would have played that. Like I didn't even know the blackout in 2003 happened
because you were just in the woods.
Correct.
You came back to civilization. It was like 28 days later.
We did not even really realize that until it was like, hey, why aren't like some of the like at night they have some of those big kind of like street light kind of things in a couple of areas,
right?
And they just like weren't on. And we're like, hey, why aren't they on? Like legitly, you would not know. You would not know.
It was like you were Cillian Murphy and you woke up with the beginning of 28 days later, and you were like, what the hell?
Yeah, we didn't know anything. That was a bummer too. I missed all the stuff. I basically missed the MLB season. I had to just read about the Yankees scores in the newspaper, and I'd miss World Cups.
Oh God, that's rough.
A bummer.
There's no going back.
Yeah, I missed the Don's headbutt, but I just like heard about it.
I had a football practice that day. I heard it on the radio as I got dropped off at practice.
Yeah, I just like heard about it. I guess it became a lot different when we got Wi-Fi and the internet. Camp was much different than it ended up being before that. Basically, you were going off to the Stone Ages.
So and then everybody went to the internet. Everybody went to camp and just stayed inside and went on the internet.
Yeah, that's all it became. Like, yeah, that's really all it became. Like before that, we would be like, out playing like, us counselors or whatever. We'd just be, afterwards like playing a lot of sports or doing a lot of things. And then everyone just ended up in this room where like the Wi-Fi router was
everybody
not doing anything.
Everybody just on a laptop watching Peanut Butter Jelly Time with the banana over and over
exactly,
again.
Exactly.
Like, well, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is great. I love camp.
Yeah, I love camp. Thanks, internet.
This is great.
We went to internet camp.
Oh yeah, that'd be phenomenal. Yeah, they got to get these games going. What are the games now? Now, I sound pretty old by that statement. Now, I'm not talking like Fortnite and that kind of stuff, where like, I guess like Witcher 3 was like pretty popular and like, but I haven't been on stuff. I just haven't been on stuff.
Varies this year.
Because I'm big on that long format kind of Skyrim stuff now.
Gotcha.
All right, so that would appeal to me, like a Witcher 3 or like the that Lord of the Rings game.
You would like Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout. You know what? I don't really like Fallout. I've played Fallout. I just haven't like.
Are you not a fan of shooters?
They're fine. The only real shooter that I got
is Finn Balor.
Right.
Makes
That's
sense.
correct. Good call.
Mm-hmm.
The only real shooter that I got into was Call of Duty. During like the craze or whatever, and I was like online, going crazy. I was getting like 10th prestige. I was putting way too much time in. So
I competed for Rainbow Six Vegas 2. I was super into that. I was on different forums and different teams and sponsorships and I spent many a time from like 2008 until like 2011. Competing pretty seriously for Rainbow Six. God, yeah, that Rainbow Six Vegas 2 was my shooter of choice, and I think Call of Duty is for bitches. Any 7-year-old can be good at Call of Duty, not at Rainbow. Go on, man. Those are woo.
All right, cool. Okay, pump the fucking brakes. Okay.
You swore.
First of all, it was 7 years ago. Get over it. You're not a video gamer.
What was 7 years? Oh, yeah. I just mentioned that we were talking about games of choice of shooters. I mean, I play a lot of games, though.
Well, I don't like shooters, so.
Well, I mean.
I don't play anything anymore, so it's fine.
Well, yeah, because you're like a real adult.
Well, I mean, eventually I hope to get back in. We could do a video game episode at some point.
Oh, well, that would be tremendous.
Well, yeah.
Dream.
Anyway, what do you think about this like OBJ contract situation?
Segue.
Well, I'm just saying.
I don't know. I'm not paying him. I think he's a head case. I think he's really good. I don't think a receiver is. I just think everything's like, in terms of relevance. Like I'm not going to be the one to make him the highest paid receiver in the league. I don't think he's the best receiver in the league. He's had injury issues. He's a head case. I think he lacks the stability mentally in order for me to make him like the cornerstone of my team. I'm not paying him. I know somebody's going to give him 17, 18 mil a year or a ton of money guaranteed, or somebody's going to do something, and he's going to go chase that. But I would not be the one to give him that. No.
Here's my devil advocate argument, right? Okay. Antonio Brown right now is the highest paid receiver.
Is he?
Yes, at 17 mil a year.
Okay.
He
should be.
He got that contract. I believe he got that contract in 2016.
Okay.
If you go back to 2011, the highest paid receiver, who do you think it was?
2011?
2011. Pop quiz, hotshot.
Larry Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, you Kobe'd that.
Yeah, I did.
Fitz was the highest paid receiver at 16 mil.
Total.
Okay.
Oh, a year. I'm sorry.
No, a year.
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
So in
Total
5 years,
it's gone up
I
1
mean,
million.
it only went up $1 million. It was about like 5% over that 5 years, but the cap has gone up 47% over the same amount of time.
Yes.
So that has a lot to do, obviously, that receivers are now valued at a different level. But when I saw that, I was like, okay, it's not outrageous, I guess, that he would want that. It's just the time, I guess. It's just like the look of it. It's like, you want 18 mil for like 5 years? That's like, it just looks like, ugh. Especially since he's been injured, and it's like, okay, well, you maybe can make it work because you have Barkley on like a cheap contract right now, and you have Manning kind of fading out, so you'll get rid of his money and then you get a cheap new option, I guess, in the next like few years. But like once Barkley's over that rookie contract and you're looking to pay them, it's like
you're gonna have to pay him. You're gonna have to pay Landon Collins eventually. If Ogletree does his thing, which he should, and he's pretty sweet.
Ogletree's already getting paid way too much, so don't worry about him.
You're gonna have to re-sign him at some point.
Yes,
like Janoris Jenkins gets a buttload of money. Like
I would get rid of. I know. Like,
where does Odell rank in terms of receivers? Is he where do you put him in the tier of, like, is he the second best, third best, fourth best receiver in the league?
Okay, is it like fantasy wise?
No, just like if you're starting a real life team.
Like
how many receivers are you taking over Odell?
How many receivers am I taking over Odell? I would probably only take 2 guys in front of him.
Oh, who? Antonio
I would take Antonio Brown, and I would take Hopkins over him.
I'm taking Antonio. I'm taking Hop. I'm taking Julio.
I don't love Julio because he has as many injury things as
I tell you what, even else
as Beckham.
True, but he's not the distraction that Odell is. And that's a big letdown for me. Like, you're going to give the most money to your guy who's like
it's hard for me. It's hard for me to judge some of that stuff only because those players haven't been in like New York, I guess. I don't know if they would like be different or if they would be
but
like
still,
if you're in
some
Atlanta.
Of his shit, come on, like some of his stuff on the sideline is like crazy, and yes. I'm just not giving him that much money. Injury history aside, like
I don't want to pay. I just flat out don't think the way the league is now with a spread 4 wide. We're not talking like Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, NFL. Like we're talking like the Julian Edelmans and Cole Beasleys of the world
can do
like tons
sweet.
Of play and do well. Like you're talking like slot receivers now and route tree runners. Like that are probably more important scheme wise.
That's why I was going to say I know
just flank receivers. Can he catch almost everything in a crazy radius? Sure, he's really great, but I think it isn't like and the team definitely did worse without him, I think. Correct. But I don't know how good they would have done with him either. Like I know. Like 2 years ago, I don't know if it was like a perfect storm for the Giants because the defense had a really good year.
They also pulled a lot of games out of their ass.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if it was like a kind of a perfect storm year for them. And because me personally, I don't think that defense is actually like that great.
No, I completely agree.
I don't think that defense is as good as people thought it was 2 years ago. So I don't mind getting rid of Janoris Jenkins or Landon Collins when that time comes down the road. Like paying people wise,
I don't
to get younger. I really don't mind getting younger them because I don't really value them. I mean, I think Snacks is great for them, and they have they have Vernon on that team, and like who else they have on that?
Boatload of money to Olivier Vernon.
Yeah, they have a lot of. They obviously gave a lot of money to a lot of people on that team because they have Solder now, and they have that. Well, they got the young Willie who's the young offensive tackle? I always forget his name. Yeah.
Will Hernandez?
That's right. Will Hernandez, yeah. And I mean they just gave a lot of money to Solder. I think I would rather build the lines and get rid of some of those secondary guys if it comes to that.
In today's NFL, I'm doing that.
Just because they're going to, I don't know, they're going to end up paying them. I mean, they just are, I think. I don't see a way they're out of it. I know they just changed GMs, but I don't know. I don't really see them not paying them. They're just going to let them go.
No, I think they'll.
You can't really get equal trade value in the NFL.
No,
like that.
I think they'll end up paying him. I just personally wouldn't. Like, I think in certain team situations, I mean, like, I'm paying Aaron Donald. I'm paying Khalil Mack.
Well, the thing is, it's like you didn't know you picked a player and he ended up like exceeding your expectations, and then now you're stuck. It's like they didn't ask for it, but it's at the same time they can't get away from it.
I just think you can find another receiver, not that's going to put up what Odell does, but the money you're giving Odell.
I understand it could go to other areas, but it's a bad look if like you try to trade him or get rid of him. I think not that like some organizations straight wouldn't care. I mean, the Patriots wouldn't care. There's a lot of people that be like, we can get 3 or 4 dudes for this.
That's
guy
how
you
win the championships. I mean, it's the same thing with what they've been talking about with quarterbacks recently. Like the teams that have all this money invested into their quarterback, it aren't the teams winning the Super Bowls. Like the teams that win, let me
except for Brady,
they win. Yeah, but they've got that one.
And
recently.
Saints could easily have won last year.
Saints could have won last year, but they didn't. And the Patriots, I know they beat Atlanta.
So unless you have the super elite quarterback,
but even
if you don't have that, and you need like the rookie contract, we throw a ton of money towards the defense.
And that's what you have to do. You have to build around that. Like even with like Brady's the closest one that's done it, and even with that. Not to knock the Patriots, like Atlanta fucking blew that game and did a whole bunch of
knock the Patriots coming from you. I believe that.
Okay, I hate the narrative you try to spin where like no matter who I dislike, like I'm not objective. Like I hate the Steelers too, but I think Antonio Brown's awesome. Like I don't let my dislike for someone.
What about Juju?
Team. Juju's sweet too.
I know he's awesome.
I don't let my dislike for individuals or teams cloud my objectivity ever. But,
I like the Steelers. I just don't like Ben.
No, I don't like him either. He's a rapist. But the even with that, Atlanta lost that Super Bowl. Like they fucked that up. They should have buried that easy, but they didn't. And even so, like the Patriots needed a shit ton of luck and things to go right for them to win that. All the other teams that have won the Super Bowl are teams that have a good quarterback, but like you said, they're either on their rookie deal or they have a good quarterback who's not breaking the bank, and then they have money in other things, and I think that's the way to go.
That's definitely the way to go, but I don't know if that's really like panned out just yet. That was kind of what ended up happening with this. I think the Seahawks were like the model for this, because
look at all the teams that have won Super Bowls, like the Steelers. Ben wasn't breaking the bank; they had money for other stuff.
Yeah,
the Packers,
but I mean, not like
Aaron Rodgers
cheap either.
No. But
they more I don't want to say they get lucky, but they evaluate receivers really well in the fact that if they lose a guy or something like that, for some reason they just find another guy.
Well, yeah, they lost Mike Wallace, they lost Emmanuel Sanders.
Even back to Holmes. It's just like Antonio. Yeah, just like they find guys. Like they know how to scout.
But that's what
receivers.
The model is. Like you scout well, reload, get a bunch of I'd rather have like a bunch of B+ players than have like 2 A's and a bunch of C's or B minuses. And that's the way you have to win.
Yeah, I get that. But you might not get the time as a GM or a coach to do that. And you kind of like, when you go in, you just got to like work with what you have.
So Odell's going to give you that. You don't even know who your quarterback is going to be after this year. And you're going to give the receiver a shit ton of money. You don't even know who's throwing him the friggin' ball. Any person who goes in that situation has to pay him. Like you can try to negotiate at least down to, 17 mil and a quarter to be the highest paid receiver. I'm not saying that they're not going to pay him. I'm just saying I personally wouldn't.
I know, but if you were the Giants GM, you'd have to. I mean,
No,
it's
I
just
feel like you can't come in and like not pay Odell.
yeah.
If
I
you're
mean,
new.
you can just huff and puff, but I mean, it's a situation you get. Now you took the job, so you know that's what's going to happen.
Right.
But maybe you're like, okay, so I'm going to treat OBJ like our quarterback, basically. Like he's making like he's making the quarterback money, right?
Right.
And we're gonna lose Manning, right? So we don't have quarterback money that's allocated to anybody. So so it's going to Beckham. And so then we're going to get a young rookie quarterback on a rookie deal, or get a cheaper option, or get a cheaper option,
Yep,
and then work it like that. Put the money into the lines. I mean, they definitely put the money into the defensive line, the offensive line. So and then just build that way and be like, okay, you know what? It doesn't necessarily have to be. It's like if you had. I would say in a situation where you had Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and you had to pay them both, that kind of maybe cap straps you a little bit more, whereas you're losing Eli very soon. So if you pay Odell and you have Barkley, at least on a rookie deal for a few years here, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world because you can get like a cheaper option, a quarterback and or a rookie quarterback if you're like really bad or good rookie quarterback. And maybe they just play it like that. I'm not sure.
Or they sign somebody like a Case Keenum type or somebody that can like do the job.
Teddy Bridgewater.
The Jets are open to trade.
Hey, he's sniffing around.
So maybe you do that. I just feel like you handicap it. I'm not a fan of in general of like
I don't like
the money at a guy unless it's in today's day and age, unless it's like defensive line related, like that's why I'm paying Donald and that's why I'm paying Khalil Mack, or unless it's a super special case.
I'm not giving an offensive player, like a skill position player, big money. It's not
so
worth
it. You wouldn't give you think Gettleman has to give Odell that money, but you wouldn't give Odell that money.
No, I wouldn't. I'm against all of that. I don't want to pay big money for receivers or running backs. I don't even want to draft receivers or running backs high. I don't want to draft them in the top 5 picks. I wouldn't have.
Oh no, I'm not doing that in top 5 either.
I wouldn't have drafted Barkley. I don't care that everyone thinks he's the best player or whatever. I would have gone a different way.
Well, it depends what my team structure is.
I just think you can find guys like those are the guys that you can find. You cannot find like elite pass rushers just hanging out on the couch. But people have found like Alvin Kamara. People have found
Kareem Hunt.
People have found like impact running backs later in rounds or just practice squad on some other team and whatever. I mean, look at the end of every year, like fantasy wise, like who you were throwing out there that you were like, why do I have Chris Carson on my team starting? Like just all these guys, and it's just like. Look at the fantasy is a very good indicator of that. So you're looking at, even look at Le'Veon Bell, not a first rounder. Kareem Hunt, not a first rounder. Alvin Kamara, not a first rounder. Alex Collins, not a first rounder. Like there are running backs literally in every division littered throughout who perform when given the ball that you can kind of just find off the trash heap. Same thing with receivers. Like, all you got to do is go to the Seahawks, see what players they have that they're not doing well with because they're horrible with running backs, and just take them, and they'll probably be a superstar.
Jerick McKinnon just cashed in big, not a first rounder. Like I'm the same way. I'm putting money in the defensive line or offensive line and my corners, and then the quarterback, and I feel like I can find good value later in the draft or in free agency. Sign some dudes that give you good value or fit your scheme or system from a running back position or receiver position. I can't, unless they're doing something crazy or their longevity or their durability. Like Antonio Brown might be an exception for me because of his durability combined with his ability. Like he can do everything. He's proven. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Like he would almost kind of like warrant that for me, but I'm not ready. Odell's injury history scares me. His mental stability scares me. I'm not giving. I might again feel different if I'm Dave Gettleman and I'm like, well, shit, I kind of have to, but yeah, I'm not. I can't commit to that amount of money for that amount of time with how my team is. No way.
Okay, well then, speaking on that, then how do you feel about the Donald situation? Because you said you like paying for the big defensive end and stuff, but
I think Aaron Donald may be second to J.J. Watt in like the best football player on the planet overall.
Just what about, and it's possible he could be like one, but
Yeah,
I'm
he
just
might be better
saying
than Watt.
the money wise, the quarterback money wise.
I'm giving it to him because he affects the game from so many levels. Like if you can't, it's an overstatement for some people, but Donald, like, majority of the time, you cannot block him one-on-one. He fucks up your run game, and he rushes the passer. The most dangerous thing is interior pass rush. It's the quickest way to the quarterback, and he creates it just by lining up. You don't have to stunt with him. You don't have to scheme with him. You just line him up and be like, yo, go get the QB, and he gets him. And he clogs the run game. It allows the rest of your defensive line to be good. I'm giving him kind of what he wants. I have no problem paying him. Same way I would pay him what he wants. I'm paying J.J. Watt whatever he wants. I'm probably going to pay Khalil Mack what he wants. Like this, but that interior rush level position is so, especially in today's day and age, in today's NFL, if you can get to that QB quick, and especially with how many teams run spread and run a 3-step drop or a 5-step drop or a hike, 1-2 throw, if you can get to the quarterback from the middle, or you have a guy in the middle that has to be double teamed so you can let your dudes on the edge like get one-on-one matchups or rush speed, like he just allows you to be so flexible and do so much. I'm paying him.
Well, you know what's not flexible is their cap, because they just signed so many guys,
Yeah.
and it's like I just don't know. Like it doesn't. I mean, I don't know how long he wants to go with this. I don't know how you think about like how he's treating this. He's very like Revis like.
I'm very
in the way he's taking it, because obviously now he's gone past the point where the unrestricted is off the table. He'd be restricted now.
He's crossed the Rubicon a little bit.
Correct. And so is he gonna, I mean, he could be the dude that there's not many that like, you know, everybody talks like, oh, I'll sit out a couple games. No one sits out games.
No, because I'm
just because of all the penalties and all that kind of stuff.
I'm torn, but I don't like people holding out.
He's kind of holding them up. And the thing is, I guess they should have known this, like when they went on their like spree, but now it's like, now they got a bunch of money. Now they have some guys in good contracts.
But
Marcus Peters is on a good track, but you just paid Sue like whatever it is, 17 mil, and you're like, oh, correct. And you just paid Brandon Cooks, and you want to get to Goff eventually, that kind of thing. But it's like, okay, so he's gonna line up next to Sue, and like Sue has already said like, oh, he should be making more money than me because he's a better player. Which does not help the situation. Which does not help the situation at all, because I think he's scheduled to make like $6 million this year or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That just puts them in a rough spot.
There's no win. Like, even from my perspective, I don't have like a horse in the race, and I see it from both sides. Like I don't like dudes holding out. I think it's a bad look on them. I think it's like shitty to the team, shitty to the fans, the organization, like all that. But at the same time, like, these guys put their body literally, and I know they know what they sign up for, but they put their body on the line literally like week after week. And he's in a position where he's getting hit in his head, his face, his body, every single play. So I'm not going to tell some dude, yeah, show up and play for what you signed for. And tell them to do that, especially in his case, because I'm looking around and I'm like, all right, cool. So we traded for Marcus Peters. We had money for that. We got to keep Talib. Cool, we have money for that. We did this for Sue. We had money for that.
I don't know how they have all this money, by the way.
And then, yeah, I don't know that either. And then they gave money for Cooks, and then they extended Gurley. And I know Goff is coming around the pike. So I'm looking from his perspective. I feel like if I'm him, to compare to the real world, like if I'm just at some job and my boss told me, hey, we don't have any money to give you a raise right now, even though I've told you you're the best guy in this whole company. And then all of a sudden I start seeing all of my peers and people that suck compared to me are all getting bumps, and some of them are getting paid more than me. I have a problem with that, like if I'm Aaron Donald, especially considering how good he is. Again, in my opinion, he's one of the top 2 players in the NFL. It's between him and Watt for me when healthy. Like you can pick which one is top, but it's one of them. And for them to not pay him and bring in And I know they made some other moves, like
Maybe
they got rid of
they don't
Ogletree
have
and they
to.
got rid of Quinn. No, they don't have to, but I personally would. Like, I'm paying.
Play the game.
They what?
They got to play the game.
I'm giving him that money. I probably wouldn't have brought in Sue. I would give Donald that money. You, especially too, like, you have to, at a certain point, this is where it comes into play as well. Like, kind of with the Giants situation, like, at a certain point, you have to take care of your own. And you don't want to send a message to players on the team currently or people that are looking at your team in the future and be like, well, when push comes to shove, we're not going to pay you that money.
Why not?
Because then, dude, how do you know you're going to be able to attract people? Dudes aren't necessarily going to go
It's
there.
a business.
True, it's a business, but again, dudes aren't going to – they're going to know that
don't
from
get
the –
free agents.
But they're going to look from the business side of it and be like –
well,
all
the thing
right,
is,
well,
you
they're
can do
not
that
gonna...
if you win. Look at the Patriots.
Okay,
they
so
don't care.
But that's what I was going to say. But in order to do that, you have to win consistently. And the teams that have been able to do that it's very rare. Like, the Patriots have done it in the NBA. The Patriots have done it in the NFL. The Warriors have done it in the NBA. The Penguins have done it recently in the NHL. The old school Red Wings in the late 90s did it when they would always pick up, like, oh, Brett Hall. Oh, Chris Chelios. Like, or the Avalanche.
Well, they're ring chasing.
Yeah. So you can get some dudes like that, or dudes who will be like, you know what? They're going to win. I want to win. Let me go there. But you know that in order to stay that way, you have to consistently win. And if you can do that, that's awesome. Then you kind of flip the script. But for regular, everyday type of things, I feel like at a certain point you have to pay somebody. You have to show somebody you're willing to give them money. That's why
the quarterback.
Yeah, but that doesn't count because everybody knows the quarterback gets paid.
Dude,
that's what I'm afraid of for the Toronto Raptors, because like everybody in the NBA came out and was like the players were like, "Oh, that's shitty what happened to DeMar DeRozan." If you have some sort of sentiment and feeling amongst the players in any league that like this owner or this team doesn't do right by their players, you have a problem.
Well, in the NBA, a lot more people get butthurt than in the NFL. People in the NFL realize it's like more of a business. People in the NBA feel some like type of way or whatever. I don't know.
No, I'm not saying
I'm straight
that's
business
right.
the whole time. Like numbers are numbers. I'm a numbers person. Obviously, I'm an accountant.
You're a spreadsheet guy. Let spreadsheets roll.
So
spreadsheets.
I'm just like, this is good value. This is bad value. Whatever. I don't care about that. Like, I don't like them, but I don't care about that Patriots mindset where it's strictly numbers based. You're a robot. You just, it's all analysis and there's no like human feeling or emotion at all involved.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be a combination.
I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine with that because like, obviously with Brady, it's like, well, you're going to pay him, obviously. I mean, he's the guy that gets you there or whatever, but you're not going to pay anybody else. It's like the Steelers took an approach where any of those receivers before Antonio Brown, they didn't pay those guys. Like, they just, like, let them walk or traded them.
Again, they had their model. It worked out really well. They have a good scouting system. They have a good coaching
that's what you
staff,
need.
so they develop. But if you have to hope that you
trust
have
yourself enough. I mean,
that's exactly it. In a perfect world, yes.
You can't get to that place you can't, like, just fall into that place. You need to have that mindset and then, like, do that. So that you need to, like, start somewhere. It wasn't like, the Patriots started from – Belichick was like not great with the Browns, Jets one day. Then, he was stuck with a kind of Bledsoe thing and this fell into his lap. But
finding a way to blur the rules and took off.
Exactly.
So if you have that formula and if you have that model, awesome, more power to you. Like, it works, but not many teams in any sport are able to have that sustainable model, even just from a consistent point of having like a same head coach and GM in sports. Like, it's tough, and so you not only have to have that, but then you have to have proper scouting and development and systems and schemes and just round the clock stuff. It's harder to have that. If you can, again, in my mind, that's what I'm doing it. Like, I'm all about, cool, I want the scheme. I don't need the pay this much money to have this guy. I know that I just need a player at this position who can do X. Cool, I found him. I just need a player at this position who can do Y. Boom, got him. That's I'm
not saying that across the board and you're like hoarding money, but it's like if you find a bunch of values and you're analytical with it, and then you can do something with maybe that one big ticket item, then you can and you treat your draft picks very well, and just like stuff like that. Not the actual person, but how you actually do the board
Right.
and like get draft picks and stuff.
To equate it money wise and roster development, I compare it to like an easy metaphor for me or analogy is like hockey stuff. Like instead of having like a guy who scores 40 goals, I'd rather have like 3 dudes who can score 20. I'd rather instead of having like 2 elite scorers, I'd rather have like 5 or 6 really above average scorers. So I'd split that up. Like that's how I try to build everything.
Also, I just think the NFL isn't to a place where it's like, I still think it's very like old school. Like you have like old white dudes who own all these franchises kind of thing. And it's still in sort of that mode. If you're talking about like the NBA, 1, there's less players like on the playing field at a time.
Correct.
But 2, the players wield a lot more power and kind of can shift things a lot more than in the NFL. So because of that, and because the teams know that some of them tend to, walk on ice a little bit, and because they don't want like their star player to leave or stuff like that. And they know that players get their way and then kind of create super teams and stuff like that. And that just won't happen in the NFL. You're not going to have like an all-star team on a team just because of how it is. So yeah, it's definitely a little different, but I see what you're saying. But I come in from analytical. I'd rather like get like the Eagles. I thought they got like, super great value on some of their like cornerbacks. I mean, they have. I'm not sure if they pay Jenkins, but Jenkins is like the cog back there. But I remember the cornerbacks. They got like great deals on their cornerbacks. They had.
Well, even look at their receivers. Like they. Like
exactly.
But they didn't like shop in the bargain bins, but they signed Torrey Smith.
I mean, basically,
they got Alshon Jeffrey, and
Jeffrey was like an elite receiver at one point.
Yep.
Everyone thought he fell off. He was injured. Obviously, a lot of stuff. It's like, okay, cool. I'd rather wait the initial flood, and now, like, say right now, exactly this is the time. You have all those dudes out there. Say somebody who like was after the initial. I don't know, your Trey Bostons and you're like. Your other guys that are like hanging out there. I mean, they're still very good players, and now you can get them at very good deals because they're like, what am I doing this year? So
you hold out, and that's why I like not just because I'm a Bills fan, that Bills deal for Corey Coleman. Like even if Corey Coleman sucks and retires, tomorrow,
wow, you like that deal?
Yeah, we gave up a 7th round pick.
I just don't like the player.
No, I don't love him, but we needed somebody who can burn and who has speed, and he has it. And even if his ceiling or his best ability or days are that he's like a number 3 receiver or a number 2 at best, we traded a 7th round pick in 2020. If you told me that my 7th round pick will turn out to be my number 3 receiver or like my number 2, I would do that every day. And again, to go into your point from before, to me that's about value. Like a 7th rounder.
Well, I mean, it's the Browns, so I mean, you're never not going to win the trade.
That's true. It's the Browns, but the value there is off the charts. Like the odds of your 7th rounder,
but like
having an impact.
I have a Pro Bowl long snapper, and you have Myles Garrett. Let's make something happen.
And they're like, you know what? Our punting game needs to get better.
You know what? Myles Garrett hasn't made a Pro Bowl.
No, he's not, and that long snapper has. Make the trade.
Sign it up.
So that type of value, like I'm all about like that kind of stuff, that value. And it's not bargain shopping, but again, it's being smart and being like, you know what, we can either have 1 or 2 players who are an A or an A plus, and then have a bunch of C's, or maybe like a couple B minuses, or we can have a bunch of dudes that are B pluses and B's with a couple A minuses, and that's what I would rather have. And I think anytime you really pay out the ass for certain players, it handicaps you. So I'm usually not a fan of it. I would make the exception in Aaron Donald's case because I think the position that he plays is of a high importance in today's NFL, or just in the NFL in general. I think the position he plays is of high importance, and he's so elite at that position. And that is my main driver. And then when you throw in the little added value of the message that it sends to people, I would do it. I just think, again, he's so... From a value standpoint, I think giving him that money allows you to get kind of you can get situational type players for cheaper money and have them be good pass rushers or have them figure out this, or you can have guys that can fit your scheme and have them cost, less because he gives you so much versatility, so much flexibility, and force because of the position that he plays and how good he plays it.
Where are they getting this money from?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think in my head. I was like, okay, Ogletree was definitely overpaid, and I guess Watkins had like kind of a big
Stan
contract.
Kroenke's the owner, right?
Not the stupid contract he has now. Yes.
And didn't he just buy Arsenal?
Oh yeah.
So he's just rich as fuck.
No, but it does. But there's a cap, man.
Maybe
although he'll do great in soccer because you can do whatever you want.
I know there's a cap, but maybe they're just giving guarantees.
What the hell is going on?
I didn't know how when they signed Sue, I was like, huh. And then
are they not going to be able to sign Goff?
No, they have to sign Goff.
Okay, well, how much did they extend Gurley at?
A bunch. I think he's the highest paid running back in the league.
Okay, I don't understand how you could have the highest paid player, the highest paid running back, a very high paid quarterback, not obviously not in that.
Well, Talib's money comes off the books by the time they have to re-sign Goff, and maybe they just give him a bunch of guaranteed
Brandon Cooks
money.
is making a decent amount, right?
Brandon Cooks is making a very decent amount. And
so how can you have 4 of the highest paid people at their position and still like field a squad here?
Well, if you look at their team a little bit, they lack in certain areas.
Do I have to?
They have no linebackers.
This is why I told you I do not like them.
Their linebackers are bad now. They suck. Their secondary, they have Peters and Talib, but everything else is kind of eh. LaMarcus Joyner is good, but they franchised him. But that money will come off next year. Talib's money comes off. So they'll have some flexibility to sign Goff.
So maybe they're just trying to push the Donald thing down the road so they can get those 2 contracts off.
Maybe, but then I think if they structure it right and do like a combination of guaranteed money and this and that and break it up in years, it's possible. But I mean, if they might be doing that. But Aaron Donald, again, just based off of the sport that is played and the position that he's at, I understand like the whole like handshake type of agreement or deal. Be like, hey, we're going to do this deal next year. But how do I know if I'm that player that like I don't blow out something in week 2 and they decide not to pay me, or I have something that wrecks my season or hurts me in the future and that costs me playing time, that costs me my ability to perform on the field, which then costs me dollars. Like I'm not, if I'm him.
Well, then my thing is, okay, you're thinking about that in the short term, getting hurt or whatever. But like, I guess the same situation happened last year. He signed right before camp and stuff like that. If you go another year and then you're unrestricted, then it's just all out there, man. Like you can sky's the limit. Who knows how much the Bucks would give you?
But he's not unrestricted. The Bucks. He's not unrestricted next year. He'll be restricted.
He would have been if he just signed the goddamn deal.
But he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to play it down unless he's getting paid what he wants.
All right. No, I mean, fine. I'm sure that every NFL player feels like that, but you can't make NBA money.
No, they're never gonna.
You're not gonna Mozgov this.
Oh, Mozgov, he got paid so much. When they signed Sue and all the other moves, and I know they traded Ogletree and they let Sammy go, and
I guess that Sue move, I don't know how they made that happen, I guess.
No, I thought the same thing. And then I kept thinking, like, how are they going to pay Donald? And then I was like, well, they got to pay Goff, but Goff doesn't have to be paid. This is Goff's 3rd year, so he's got 2.
You could have just stopped the sentence that Goff doesn't need to get paid.
Well, he's still got 1, 2, 3 more seasons of his rookie contract because they'll pick up his 5th-year option. So he's got 3 more seasons before they have to really pay him. And then maybe...
You mean draft?
You know, like Jared Goff, I take it.
No.
But they'll probably keep him, and then, I mean, they're not going to have to break the bank with him. It's not like he's going to sign one of those contracts. Yeah, but he might. Quarterbacks are crazy. Derek Carr was like the highest paid quarterback in the league last year, and then Matt Stafford was. People go crazy for that shit.
No, I know. I understand. It's like, I guess the concept right now is, well, we might as well just pay him now because it'll be a deal in 2 years.
Which is nuts. Like, that's not how you win shit.
No, but it's true, though. Like, because...
No, it's true, but that's not going to lead you to winning. Yeah, you keep the player, but you don't win a title.
Yeah. Well, the theory was true because if you say you don't have a rookie on a rookie deal, and you're looking at it and you're like, say you're Derek Carr. I don't know if they thought this. They probably didn't because it's Oakland. But say you're Derek Carr, you're like, okay, I don't know when his rookie deal was up, but it's like you don't want to get to the Matt Ryans and Aaron Rodgers get their contracts, because then we're on a whole nother like stratosphere kind of.
Yeah, but how much could it go up?
And they're gonna notch down. No, they're gonna notch based on those contracts.
Correct.
So it's just like, no, let's just sign as soon as possible at a number we can stomach, and like not worry and have them locked in and not worry about when Aaron Rodgers gets like,
because if we have to sign him 2 years from now,
40% of the cap or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pay him way more if we try to sign him 2 years from now.
Right.
But even so, with that, my thought there is, you're still not winning a title like that. Like, that's why, like, you give him that money that makes him the highest paid QB in the league now, and sure, 2 years from now, not the Carr thing. Carr's not going to be like a deal, but like say, I don't know. Because that's what I'm saying. No example really fits that mold. Because everybody who gets a deal, it makes them like the highest paid guy.
No,
they could 2 years from now they won't be. But
you could go the Bortles deal. Like, it's not absurd. Like, but it's not great because it's Blake Bortles.
But even that is an anomaly in and of itself, because a lot of their money is they don't have to pay a lot of dudes. A lot of their dudes are like good young, like Miles Jack, Telvin Smith, Jalen Ramsey are all on like affordable deals. They're not going to be in a couple years. They have no money locked up in their receivers. Leonard Fournette is on his rookie deal. Their offensive line is good and at affordable levels right now. Like, they have a situation where they can afford to give Bortles like that. I think that's more of a one-off, though. No, they shouldn't, but they have the money to, because
this is the same situation. Which here's
you can win a title with Blake Bortles.
I was going to get around to this. No, you can't.
They should have beat New England last year. They were one that
they didn't.
That third down.
They wouldn't have won the Super Bowl. So,
but still, with 4 minutes left, that third and whatever completion to Amendola, and then they win. And granted, there were some questionable calls in that game as well. But they took New England to the brink in New England.
New England was not a good team. It was not even. They were not good last year.
Regardless,
it was just
they
everyone
almost went to the Super Bowl with Blake Bortles.
I don't think last year was like a good year for football. I don't really think anybody played very well.
The Eagles, Carson Wentz.
The Eagles played very well with Carson Wentz, and they had a streak. I really like the Vikings, and I really like the Saints. I'm sad that they all kind of were in the same division, because the AFC, to be honest, the Patriots, like, their defense was like a laughingstock for like the first little bit of the year, and then they just got to average, and just really nobody could beat them based on like aura, or like based on they didn't have like all the pieces like fitting kind of together. There was no like Peyton Manning cult. There was no Broncos team. There was no, I don't know. There was just no other team where you're like, okay, there was no like clear cut one, or there was no clear cut two, really. Like, it was like this weird kind of year in the AFC, I guess. And I just thought it just like was just poor
But
football.
Still, that's how it's going to be for the foreseeable future. Like, the Jaguars have a very solid shot every year to go to the AFC Championship game.
I mean, great, but they're like the Raptors in the East or something. I mean, it was basically like,
oh, they can win a title.
No, the AFC is the AFC is the East.
Eastern Conference. True, but basically. They can still. But there's
so
no
you had
team,
Brady and LeBron,
but there's no Warriors.
But like, who else?
There's no Warriors coming out of the West. You mean to tell me the Jags, if the Jags play the Eagles, the Jags get rocked?
Oh, they lose.
Yeah, I don't think they get rocked.
They lose.
And I don't think Nick Foles puts up all those points on that Jags
defense.
defense.
I mean, that's not even. I just want.
That's a poor matchup actually for the Eagles, because Ramsey and Boye can.
No way.
Ramsey locks down Alshon, or Boye.
It matters not. Blake Bortles. That's all I need to say. That's all you need to know.
But he's not as terrible as the numbers see. They can run the ball. They have elite. They can run the ball. They have a good line.
Okay, well,
they have an elite defense. You can win a title that way. It's very easy.
Yeah, but it's just not going to happen. It's the same argument when the Jets. Well, my team was good, and we went to the AFC Championship. I never thought we were actually. I mean, I was hyped,
but
I never
offense
thought
was worse.
Offense was worse. No, I don't think we were actually.
Blake Bortles is a better quarterback than Mark Sanchez was for those years.
No, he is not. I don't think.
And
you can't go by numbers either, because it's a different kind of thing. But I really don't think it is, because he had like decent receivers propping him up, and he wasn't really good. And then he had like a really, really good defense, similar to what the Jags have.
But see, the defenses are different also. Like Bortles, one, I think Bortles is a better quarterback than Mark Sanchez was at those points. But two, the Jags defense is speed and physicality. That Jets defense was physicality. You guys couldn't cover for shit, and you had a lot of stuff based on scheme. The Jags don't even necessarily – the Jags are built – their defense is built along the model of Seattle's defense, which is, hey, we're going to play the same coverage every time, but our dudes are just so well suited for it and are so good that you're not going to be able to do anything with it. And that's why the Jags are good. And also, I'm going to double back. You think Mark Sanchez – in his first year and second year, when you guys went to the AFC title game, Mark Sanchez is better than that in Blake Bortles?
Blake Bortles is a dumpster fire.
He's worse than Mark Sanchez?
Sure, they both lost in AFC Championship games.
Cool.
So what can I really glean from this?
I would take Blake Bortles over Mark Sanchez at any point.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's close.
Especially if he had those weapons like Santonio and Braylon Edwards and the running game and the line. Like, you guys were stacked on offense, and you had bad quarterback play.
You just said the Jaguars are a lot better on offense 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, the system that they run, like, and the way they play is better, but the individual talent was better on that Jets team. Santonio Holmes is a better receiver than, well, now that they don't have Allen Robinson, Santonio Holmes is a better receiver than any of the Jags receivers. The Jets' offensive line was very good. The Jags' offensive line is good too, but Fournette is a better running back. Bortles is a better QB, and they play a better brand of offense than the Jets did.
I think they're very similar. It's hard to compare because it's like two different worlds in the NFL. You're talking like 2010 and 2018. That could have been like 1965.
And your defense was slow. Like, it was good, but it was slow, and it was very heavy blitz base. And yeah,
it was heavy blitz based. Bart Scott, David Harris, and then man to man coverage with Cromartie and Revis, and and then Cromartie had like a very good year, and then Revis had like an insane year.
Well, yeah, and then Revis was Revis, but that's why I think that Jags defense, I think, may be a little better, but even if it's not, it's more portable and adaptable than that Jets defense was. Because again, if the Jags can adapt on the fly.
Then you're saying the Jags defense is better than the 2000 Ravens defense? Because that defense is not quick.
No, definitely no, but they were faster than the Jets were. They may not be as fast as the...
No, of course. I mean, they had better linebackers. I don't know if they had better...
Chris McAllister was
Chris McAllister was good, but obviously he's not like Revis. But
but McAllister was very good.
I mean, they were solid because, they had Ed Reed.
No, they didn't. Those 2000 Ravens didn't have Ed Reed.
2000 Ravens didn't have Ed Reed?
Nope.
God,
their starting safeties were Rod Woodson and Kim Herring.
Oh, Rod Woodson. Yes. Okay.
And then you had Ray Lewis, who could do everything. And then they had a bunch of good dudes up front who were like good role players, like Michael McCrary, Tony Saragusa, Sam Adams.
No, they were like savvy veterans with like a couple like. But
they were also they were a decent mix. Not decent. I mean, they were very good, but they were a good mix of on like everything on a scale of 1 to 10. They were like a 7 to an 8.5 in like everything. Like, they weren't the fastest, but they weren't slow. They weren't really strong, but they weren't weak. They could blitz, they could cover, they had scheme, they had individual talent, but good role players within the scheme. And then they had some elite dudes. I mean, at that time, Ray Lewis was out of this world. Chris McAllister wasn't as good as Revis, but Chris McAllister was still a top corner. Dwayne Starks was still a good corner. Rod Woodson patrolling the back, who's arguably the greatest safety of all time, if not one of the best overall defensive backs of all time. Or not greatest safety, just one of the best defensive backs of all time. They had a very good mix of everything. I'm taking that... Oh, that's a discussion for another time. Like, best individual season defenses of all time. But I would take the Jags defense over the Jets defense in this era, and probably even back then. But again, to your point, like, if I'm playing...
I wouldn't. I don't know why you were so high in this Jags defense.
If I'm playing... You guys are just slow.
It is not that great.
If I'm playing in the 90s or the 80s or the 70s, or I'm playing in a game where it's really cold and there's snow or rain, I'm taking that Jets defense. I'm taking Bart Scott and David Harris and Cromartie and Revis. I'm taking the man-to-man, mug you, lock down, hit hard, smash mouth defense.
Like the Broncos a couple years ago had a way better defense than this Jags defense.
I agree.
Like, this Jags defense is really not great.
I agree. They're not great, but they're very good for today's NFL. They're elite for today's NFL. They do a lot of things very well. They have a good scheme.
I just
they have
feel
very
like
good players who are very good in that scheme. And in today's day and age, you got to have
I feel
so
like
much
they
speed.
let up a lot, is what I think. Like, they let up like 40-point games. It obviously means like their heads
but they're
not
also
in it,
they're
and
also
they're just
extremely
kind of
young.
It's like effort.
Yeah, well, they're dudes that are the best guys on that team, on that defense, are young. Ramsey's young and an asshole. Telvin Smith is young. Miles Jack is young. Calais Campbell is the veteran, I guess, on that line, but he's not like a huge like vocal leader and stuff like that. And then you got Malik Jackson, not a vocal leader. Barry Church, I guess, is a little bit of one, but Boye just kind of plays to the tune of those younger dudes and gets amped up like they do. I think they're a very good defense in today's league. I would call them elite. Like they've had mental slip-ups and had busted coverages and plays and messed up a bit, but they're a matchup problem for a lot of teams. They can cover, they can blitz, they can run, and also that attitude and that mentality is the reason why they're so good. Like they may lose focus or let up at times or get too full of themselves, but it's also the reason they were able to walk into Pittsburgh and like punch Pittsburgh in the mouth twice and come out with the victory twice. And it's the reason they were very, very close to beating the Patriots.
I thought it's because the Steelers' defense sucks. But
the Steelers' defense does suck. Like, that's without a doubt. But, I mean, they had the Jags had a bunch of takeaways, punched them in the mouth right early, and Pittsburgh kind of, like, was reeling, and then eventually they came back. But, yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh's defense also sucks, which is tough to say for them. But it goes hand in hand. Like, they have a gift and a curse at times. But, I mean, they have elite players at every level. I mean, again, Calais Campbell and Malik Jackson.
All right.
And
Too much about the goddamn Jags.
Miles Jack. I hate the Jags. I fucking hate
them.
Damn it!
What's going on?
I hate Jalen Ramsey. I hate Jalen Ramsey, to be honest, and I don't like the Jags. And I also hate their uniforms. I think they suck now, but they got really good dudes on that team, man. They can fucking fly.
All right, great. They're not even going to win the division.
Yes, they are. The Texans are not better than the Jags.
We're not going to go down that road.
Deshaun Watson is. Oh my god. Foolishness. I can't believe you're making me like root for the Jags off of your foolishness.
Thanks for listening. If you like this episode, please rate and review us. iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you're listening to this. If you can, please take a look at our page at AA Talk Stuff on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, especially on Instagram. I'm on there all the time. Please send a message. Do wherever you can. Hope you like this, and see you next week.